Well, hello there, everybody. A little bit of Santana coming in with a little bit of, God, a dark magic woman. I don't know if you ever met one, but, I'll tell you, they can be fun. That's why we're attracted to that. So how are y'all? Let me just put this one to stop because it is so fun. It just blows my mind. Hey, Ricky. Oh, it's Friday, and I hope you're having fun. Yeah, I got it. Um, I am, and it's a beautiful day here. It's snowing, and we love the snow here in Colorado. So, hope wherever you are, it is a Bosto kind of day, being of service to others, speaking favor over us all. There's a reason why I do that. I'll share that here in a second. And hey, if you're on this rock, well, celebrate it, meaning your birthday. Many people say, well, isn't that their enslavement day? Yeah, when in Rome, that's what they say. Hey, Big Al, good to see you. Son Rabbit, hello. Honored to have you on, sir. Enjoy seeing you all the time on the ladies' channel, the Andromeda 7 Celestial Portal Group. Yeah. Lori and Teresa and just the whole group over there. Love them. Elderberry, what's up? Good to see you. Lost in Space, how are you? Go. Susie Q, good to see you. Gorf, hello. Hello, Julie and Margaret. Happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Hello, Karen, Queen of Courts. Going to get you on. I just got things on my plate. It's just that way. Deborah Sloan, hello, Teresa. David Castle and Rufus, hello. Linda, good to see you. Nina has her show on Sunday. Who else? Hey, Jules, looking good there, darling. Mad Cow, how you doing? Good to have you. DC, Chill 99, how you doing? Elta Berry, hello. Big Al, tell Perry hello there. Divine Empress, hello. Abandon, good to have you. Eric, good to see you as well. So, what else is going on? Lots of people coming in. 29. There it is again. You see, it's when some things are meant to be, they shall be. The words that we create make that maybe a possible absolute. That's the way I see it. So, favor. Real quick. I speak it over my life, Lynn's life. She speaks it. We speak it over our property. We speak it over us all the time. So this morning, I went to the grocery store. I'm a person that gets in there. I'm typically the first one in there, when they open. I'm already up and it's like, it's a good time. No one else is in there. And long story short, I left a bag of groceries. It had actually gotten behind a little partition and didn't see it. Now, there was expensive items in there. I mean, it was like a $65 bag. The bags that I remember are not the same bags today, but the point is, this store is about 15 minutes away from our house. So I get home, unloading the car, yada, yada, yada. Come to discover that bag wasn't in with the rest of the bags. It got left. And in this day and age, you're in the self-checkout. You have to have favor in your life to have that bag, which, by the way, when I left, and the store was beginning to get really, because there's another large chain that's on strike, and the one store there was becoming crowded. Lynn looked at me and she said, "We got favor in our lives." She says, "I'm going to go and stop by there." And to her, it was like she was going to go and pick it up. And an hour later, when she got there, The first person she talked to, because it was crowded, said, yeah. She said, she said, I found that after he left. And she said, we're so busy here. She says, I couldn't go out to try to track him down. So they put it in their home delivery section. And Lynn said, well, do you want to see my receipt? She says, no, because that's what exactly is in the bag. So my point to all this is, personally, I think that was an intervention of the angels. Number one, it didn't cost it. We didn't lose anything. Two, a person who was extremely busy went down, picked it up, and then put it in a place where it was going to be reserved for us. And then the first person my wife meets is the very same person that did it. That's favor. That's all I got to tell you. It's favor. And hey, Scotty boy, what's up? That's why I speak it. I don't only confess it. It's a part of me now. It is me. I'm the favor guy. Not Bill Nye the Science Guy. I'm Wayne Steiger, the favor guy. Yeah. Our badass saying for the day is, you have countless things around you at every moment to be in awe of and grateful for. You should always be exciting as that of a child tugging on a person's sleeve, squealing in delight over the fact of all this wonder around you. You should be motivated, and all of this should be in love. All you have to do is remember to pay attention. Pay attention. I know people that are so broke they couldn't afford to pay attention. But anyway, lost two people. I mean, there's a lot of people crossing over, but Meatloaf, he's over there now with a growing band, because the good bands are all dying off. And Louis Anderson, please send healing to our sister Marsha Price today to alleviate sinus and chest congestion symptoms. Well, absolutely. Everybody just stop what you're doing. Marsha is a precious, precious spirit being, and we are all so much more enriched because of Marsha. I have so much of her handiwork, her wonderful creations. I mean, this is just one of just many. Al's got them. He has them right there front and center, and him and Perry on the truck. So Marsha, we just send you healing to speak to that congestion and that sinus. We just say to dry it up. I just look at it like this, girl. No weapon formed against you can prosper. And words have effect. And we're dealing with, typically viruses. And so we just come against those viruses, whether they're, the cold, the flu, it doesn't matter. They have to yield to us. So Marsha, we're sending you love. We're sending you healing and lots of strength. I don't like hearing that. She is really a precious, precious jewel. And yeah. So what else? Louis Anderson. Yeah. I saw him in Las Vegas back in the 90s with Rita Rudner. That guy was funny. And I'm sure they're cracking up over on the other side. I have no doubt. It's a fact. So what else is happening? I'll tell you this truth. I listened to sinus and healing. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Prosperity Paul. Good to see you. Sun Rabbit. Yeah, I can see that as well. Absolutely. A lot of stuff. I mean, weird stuff going on. That's all I got to say, but it's becoming the norm. And listen, the pendulum swings back always. If we live in circumstances, if you break that word down, it means to basically circumvent a stance, and that means perpetual motion. A circumstance is not going to always remain a circumstance. It will eventually pass into the past, like this week did. It's Friday again. It seems like I only just woke up and it's supposed to be Tuesday. Not even going to deal with that. Moderators, you guys just do your job. There's just some people that yikes, that's all you got to say. Thank you for lots of emails on last night's Steiger perspective. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You gotta like free speech, free thought. It's not Orwellian everywhere on the planet. Hey, Nick Bravo. Yeah, it feels like Tuesday. It does. It feels like a Tuesday. I don't feel like a Friday. I mean, if colors can have feelings, emotions have feelings, days have feelings. In fact, the book that we're reading that I have really gotten into, staying up way later than I should, but when you got something, thank you, Susie Q. Appreciate it. This person, I give them a break all the time. And they just got something where they just think they have the right to abuse other human beings. I mean, yikes. Son Rabbit, thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, Grandpa Brian, how you doing? Good to see you, Ruth Ann, as well. Yeah. Pepe Le Pew, I never figured out why they ever got that character, Pepe Le Pew. Teresa, you're giving me a solar plex laugh. That is good. Okay, we continue to move forward. So Ashla is our angel for today. Ashla is the angel of contemplation, the God, the just judge. So, little personal experience. You've got to learn, because my environment growing up, and a lot of what we grow up in sets the standard for what we become in our lives. And let me just say this: you got to learn to forgive yourself. You're going to make mistakes. Accept that. Do what you can, but just accept it. It's all right. Part of the journey here is the adventure of making mistakes. And the mistakes that we make, well, they should be the ones that help us adjust the path, right? That's all I got to say. Alien believers, how are you doing? So, this is the patron of esoteric studies. Well, it's amongst good company here. Instructors, teachers, people dealing with the human psychic, psychologists, and spiritual guides. Well, yes. Well, let me just go on. Protector of strategists, geniuses, and students. Well, we got the whole group here, man. The band's back together. Brings mystical experience and allows us to see things from a higher point of view, and helps to understand the sense of life and the truth about the cosmic processes on Earth's domain. Yeah, this is a domain, isn't it? Earth is a domain. We all know that. Provides personal growth through contemplation of divine creation, and elevates us towards the light and love of the universe. Gotta love these angels, man. I mean, I haven't found a bad one yet. Uh, this is the kind of neighborhood you could live in, and you don't have to lock your doors. Uh, helps us to concentrate and keep our focus within pure intentions, bestows us with a strategic mind, great organizational and planning abilities, creativity, intuition, and balance, facilitates learning and teaching, allows to summarize information easily, provides mental clarity and memorization, symbol of truth and glorification of the Creator, allows to understand sexuality through spiritual awareness, divine pleasures, and a sense of the sacred. Yeah. There are some teachings that say that sex was only reserved for the gods. How dare we? Well, then that means we are gods. Ooh, you're going to go. I ain't going anywhere, man. Brings respect, high level of morality, and true. These things are so in sync. I mean, it's amazing. And true fundamental values, teaches how to develop mental powers and reach high levels of spirituality through visualization and self-reflection. Shows how to gain access to parallel dimensions. Wow. Provides with trust in prayers, mantras, and meditation. Wow. Love these angels. That's all I got to say. So welcome everybody. Thank you for smashing that like button. Feed the algorithm. That's what they say. Got several things. So this book, I love this book. It's got me, man. It's once you get into it, it's amazing. So in line with everything else, and we're going to kind of get into this, but I thought I'd show you how I work these, because this is kind of really, it's rather cool, to be candid with you. So the first visualization exercise, follow along now. All right. Make sure you can get yourself paper, because it's when you do it, actually do it. It's like charging a talisman. So you have to remember and draw in your mind a red triangle. You can do any color, but if you have silver, that's cool. I did purple. A silver or silverish gray crescent. This is like Friday show and tell. A yellow square. Now you recreate these in your mind. You see the color. In fact, as I go through these, many of you will probably actually see the colors in your mind. A green circle. And a white or black crescent. Now, with those, you should be able to take about 10 minutes, draw them in your mind, see the colors. This focus right now, you can see, if you close your eyes, a red triangle. Draw it out. Draw out a pentagram, and then see the color you actually drew out. When you draw a line in your mind, is it always black? Does it change colors? Are there intensities to it? So then there is another really cool exercise. You can actually kind of do it like I did it last night, real down and dirty, where you can actually do, as I was putting these out, you see, you copy, you learn. Signs of the zodiac. And what's really fun about this one is when you start drawing these out, become like flashcards, you start drawing them in your mind. Here's the first one. Don't you remember drawing in school? Drawing was fun. And so the reason why I'm showing you this is that I hope you see and emulate, because, you're never that freaking advanced that you think that you've got it all figured out. Many times it's important to go back to the basics. And if you can learn to draw, then drawing, as you write them down, they become active with your energy. At least this is what I find. And I love the challenge. Some of these are more complex than others, but they're up here now and they're in here. Yeah, I know. I'm really good at this. I know. Yeah, I know. I'm complimenting myself. And so it's all kind of a step of learning. I take this when you get into this book, it's fun. That's all I got to tell you. It's just freaking fun. Now I'm eventually going to put these, I'm going to mount them because that's what it's leading me to do. So much like I have with the angels, I am actually going to put this on a placard. So the next thing I'm going to start doing is learning to start writing Greek. So, and as you can see, I have done them all and it was fun. There's still many, what is it? You can see. This one reminds me of the day the earth stood still. Every time I see this one. Klaatu. Doesn't that look like the saucer that's sitting out there, right? How many remember the day the earth stood still? The original one. And here is this one. I can see why astrologists have so much fun at this, because it's like, it's kind of like doing sigils, isn't it? At least it is to me. I mean, a logo, I've spent in my companies, you spend a lot of money for identification logo, which, is a logos, which is a sigil, which is a symbol. Martin is a drawer as well. Cool. Wait a minute. Hard to Truth Hall says, I'm watching The Day the Earth Stood Still, the original one. Check it out. So anyway, do this. You really should. This is, this is why we're meeting. This is why, we get it together, So I find it fascinating. I'm really good at visualizing. That is not a problem for me. As an entrepreneur, inventing 2 different payment software systems. I was in the film and video industry for nearly 20 years, highly creative industry. So visualization, imagination is not a challenge for me. Concentration is not a challenge. What I have found to be the biggest challenge is, allocating time. And how I do that, because the time is well invested. Bernadette says, I became an artist at the age of 60. See, it's really, and like I said, just doing these simple drawings of the zodiac. It's quite immersive. That's the best word I know. It's very immersive, and it has a wonderful effect on your dreams. Yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah, Suzanne says, I will be painting a masterpiece from my mind soon too. Ah, yes, 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 indeed. It is therapeutic, Ruth Ann. It is. It's and it's stimulating. I mean, I was kind of really getting into it. And I mean, when you're doing on a post-it note and you're doing with a fine pen, yeah, and you look back and you go, man, I kind of nailed that. And to show you what I mean, let me pull this up. You really should get this book. I got to tell you, it's one of the best books I have found on what I call integrity magic. There's lots of magic that I've read about. Many of us have. I mean, I even question some of the Golden Dawn. I mean, it's very heavily Judaic, and but this book, I have such respect for these two authors. What I really enjoyed about how they write, they talk about integrity, your character. I like how she writes. I'm just going to read this a little bit. It says, magicians are not the archetype of perfect virtue. We are humans with all the frailty and strength that comes with this condition. However, our work lets us stand with beings of a luminous nature. There's no doubt that I walk amongst the luminaries. I am walking and immersed myself into the presence of these angels. They're real to me. They're tangible. They're not, I'm soon going to start working with the jinn. And, the jinn, they're here as well. There is a race of invisible beings, but we're so asleep in this density. We're so, we're under so many spells that it is truly the very few who can actually see the invisible ones. I like what Sting in his song, And We Dance, that is a song about the South American Indians in the Amazon, where the women stand alone, but the men dance with the spirits. But the women do dance with the spirits because they can see them. Anyway, and walk in the presence of angels. And I just want to say this as well. It is an honor to walk and to be known amongst these races of beings. If they know you personally and you've embraced them personally, it's a high honor. Your transition will be surrounded by these beings. They'll let nothing happen to you in the transition. It's wonderful. It is becoming of us to have a living soul, which doesn't look towards seeing things or obsessed with vain or shallow materialism. Recognize who you are in relation to the world around you and focus your soul on the pursuit of spirit and the highest virtues. Avoid doing anything contrary to your religious beliefs. When you do magical work that, on some level, you believe is against your religion, or when you behave in a way contrary to what you know deep down inside to be right, it will lead to a sense of guilt, shame, and regret. We are not trying to push any specific religious or moral ethical code. Whatever your code or belief is, be true to it, and the magical universe will be true to you. If you plan to be a magician of light, or what is commonly known as a white magician, shun violence and try to lead a compassionate and ethical life. When these old magical tomes talk to you about committing to righteous actions, they are not just preaching the ethic of their time. Now, this is real interesting because many of these beings that are around us, they have not chosen to come back in. And as a result, they're still very much in their time, but very much aware of our time. They are basically saying, like attracts like. The more attuned you are with principles of love, light, and life, the more attuned you will be to the spiritual realm and beings that embody those values. Purity. When doing magic, you will be inviting many high-level spiritual entities to your area. Cleanliness raises the vibration of your surroundings. Magicians of old would wash up to 7 times a day during extended magical rites. Of course, this is unnecessary for the level of magical work we will be doing in this book. However, it should go without saying that when doing magic, your environment and clothing should be clean. This also includes all tools such as writing instruments, ink, parchment, and metal. Cleansing. You know what that is, right? We all know that. Someone says, no, I don't. Well, you can get smudging is a very good way. There's even now instruments that I think you can even clear the electromagnetic sphere around you. I know if you get enough of gunite and other minerals, they can do that. It talks about dietary observance. I found this one real easy. I'm not going to read these all, but yeah, I mean, diet plays an important part. If you fast, and we all should, I'm fasting once a week now. And loving what I'm seeing. And I contribute this to, again, the spirit guides that are guiding me. I mean, I could tell testimony after testimony of what they've done for Lynn and I, and we start doing something, and then only later to discover that that's the right thing you should have been doing all along. Yeah. It says here, magicians traditionally fast for extended periods when doing complex rites. Now, I'm going to get to this. A person asked me, and I'll address it just probably at the end of the show, why I left Christianity. And I'll give 10 minutes at the end of the show, and they want to know. So, all right. I know that when I fasted, and because I used to do these prayer vigils. You ever done these? And I'm talking not just a day, but usually 3 days, where I was just doing a juice fast and praying in tongues and just focusing my mind on the great beyond is really what as I look back now. But I know this, the more I fasted, the more intense the spiritual experience. So if you're going to become a magician, if you already are, you probably know this, but for those of you who are just maybe kicking the tires, fasting is good. In fact, it's good for you mentally, physically, and spiritually. It really is. Fasting is probably one of the most powerful, overlooked things that each human being can do. They get into the fact that what you eat, you digest. They talk about meat here. Some people are vegan, some people aren't. I don't think you have to listen to your body. All of our bodies are different. They have a different metabolic rate. They have a different type of internal structure of the aspects of what you need to convert energy. But it's something to remember that if you're eating a lot of junk food, that is a spell. I'll just say it out there loud. When you walk down the grocery aisles and you look at that highly processed, highly sugared food, highly, the corn oils that's fried in and everything else, there's a spell on that. And when you consume that, it's going to generate the type of energy that it was designed to do. It said that, I thought this one was interesting. It said magicians of old also abstained from certain vegetables. In those days, people did not have mouthwash or toothbrushes. And it's so true that, here's the nugget. By the time most people were in their 20s, their teeth were pretty much in really bad shape. They didn't kiss a lot back in those days. And you know why? Because Well, even the very rich, didn't keep their teeth that long. And I never thought about this, but yeah, think if you're teaching, you're back in the 1500s, right? The general philosophy was that eating highly aromatic, such as garlic, no kidding, leeks, really, shallots and onions before and during major magical operations would leave a bad smell in your mouth. I love cooking with all of those. But yeah, we just never think about those things. I remember I was reprimanded in Sunday school because I wanted to know, well, did Jesus take a poop? How did that work? Would you shut up? Let's see. Just saying. I mean, have you ever seen the Roman public toilets? You know how they wiped their backside? You carried a sponge with you, and that was your sponge. They also had public sponges that they would set in vats of vinegar, kind of be as like a disinfectant. But yeah, Steiger, why the hell did you go down that path? Well, because it's a question everybody asks, but no one seldom answers. General permission. In doing magic, you will wield ancient currents and call on beings ranging from angels to jinns. Magicians today assume they have the right to do this at any time and for any purpose. This isn't necessarily true. Getting permission can mean the difference between a ritual that is successful and one, well, that is not so successful, or that not only appears to be, and then they're tricking you. Permission can come in the form of initiation. It can result in a working agreement with an angel before that angel is called. And if you've studied the 72 angels of magic, you know the invocation. That's what it is. It's a permission. You don't just go up to Poel and say, hey, I need something change in my life. You know what? Poel is likely to slap your ass and say, get some respect. Gee. It can also be the result of a divination. Divination is important, especially when your work involves influencing the lives of other people or calling upon a highly evolved spiritual being. One mode of divination used by the ancients involved a certain ritual done over a few weeks. If at the end of the operation, the magician saw a mark appear on her hand, then she knew she had permission to do it. Other methods involve doing certain prayers and meditations and looking at their emotional state afterwards. If they felt dread and fear, then the rite wasn't to be. But if they felt openness and receptivity, it was acceptable to do it. Modern occultists rely on other methods, such as tarot. You do not have to do a divination every time you want to do a ritual. The idea here is that you are in tune to the currents and have a working relationship with the beings you are charging before you to do your work. Yeah. It also gets into the celestial observance, learning to come into the rhythm. Magical currents are influenced by celestial tides. The ritual that you do today with average result may prove to be extremely successful tomorrow. Some rituals are more influenced by astrological configurations than others. To keep track of these tides, magicians create occult tables and calendars, such as the well-known table of planetary hours. Certain days are believed to be better for constructive operations, and others more geared for destructive workings. These days are based on the lunar calendar and are related to the moon's placement in the heavens. Constructive operations are not normally done on the following days, since they are dedicated to destructive works: the 3rd, the 5th, the 13th, the 21st, like today, 24th, and 25th. Other important occult timing indicators are the mansions of the moon and the planetary alignment near the ascent, as well as the benign aspects of other planets to these. Many of you are well versed in this. And I'm not going to, we will probably get back to some of these other things. I just wanted to get to the last little point that I wanted to show you. Just really enjoy this book. Talk amongst yourselves. So here's where you do the visualization exercises. We'll get into this and how you begin to, the first exercise is maintaining a single image in your mind: a red triangle, a grayish or silver crescent, a yellowish square, a green circle, a white crescent on a black background. And that the last one's very easy to do. You can do it. Close your eyes right now. Well, there's too much light in mine. I can't see nothing. What I'm saying, I'm not seeing darkness. I'm seeing that residual glow in the background. And then, holding more complex images in your mind. The second step is to learn how to visualize a more complex image and hold it in your mind. Repeat the steps in exercise 1, but use large printouts or hand-drawn glyphs of the planets and zodiac signs. What I've done here: make 19 sheets using the astrological glyphs shown on the following page, 1 symbol per sheet, with the symbol filling half of the sheet. You can stick with standard black or white, or flashing colors like red and green, blue or orange, yellow or purple. Work with each symbol at least 3 times for 3 minutes before moving to the next one. Once you have done this, try to repeat this exercise in a couple of times without the aid of the sheets. Try to picture the symbols in your mind clearly. This is like, it's like, okay, I've got this imprinted in my mind. I'll never forget it. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see that one. Can see that one. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, won't get all the way in there. We'll cover some more of this on Monday. This is a great book. I'm just telling y'all. They say I'm just testifying. It's good stuff. I'm just reading it in here. Garlic is an antibacterial. You're absolutely right, Senator. I love cooking with it. It is fabulous. One of the things my wife, because she's a great cook, but I'm a little selfish because I really enjoy it. And as she said, you're a great alchemist in the kitchen and other areas, but and it's true. Garlic, onion, mainstays. Says the man who eats by it to close. Sun Rabbit, I think they know. I love it. This is such a great group. I love it. Y'all are just fabulous people. I just got to tell you, we're so often so down on ourselves that we don't give ourselves enough credit. The invisible ones. Now, that's why, if a person becomes depressed, angered, who can't, and we've seen it demonstrated today. And in fact, it happened this morning. There's one person who's absent here. Just reactions. They carry anger with them. And that's sad. But many of us carry anger about ourselves. And that's not a good thing to carry. Sometimes it doesn't hurt just to give yourself a hug and tell yourself you love yourself. Give yourself permission to forgive yourself. You ain't perfect, baby. None of us would want to be around you if you were. You wouldn't want to be around me if I were perfect. The adventure is our imperfectness, because within that, we begin to define whatever that perfection is for each of us, and it's different. I don't think there is an actual thing called perfection unless you go to the town where the gravois are. So give yourself, I did it this morning. You know, we're a complex beings. We're not a singularity. There are many different aspects to what makes us who we are. So it's all right to speak to yourself in the first person. It's all right. And so just hug yourself. You don't want to be your Satan. When you cross over, you don't want anyone standing there, because the only one that's going to be standing there is you. So what you want you to be saying, hey, come on, baby. Come on. Let me give you a big hug, man. Been waiting on you to come over. Man, you did freaking fantastic. You went through that life. I mean, man, come on. This is homecoming time, you know? That's what I'm talking about. And just forgive yourself. Laugh at yourself. Laugh with yourself. That's what I do. If I find myself getting uptight, I'll go out in the garage and I'll start laughing. Lynn now knows what I'm doing, you know, but I do. I just start laughing, just saying, okay, let's see. We have a good time in this group, don't we? Well, Michelle, we're glad. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, dear. Why the hell not? Exactly, Teresa. I look in the mirror and I love that person now. I'll tell you, there was a time where, you know, you wear a mask because it's easier that way. I mean, what? Deal in reality? Are you freaking crazy? So, all right. I said I would do this. Someone asked why I left Christianity. Pretty simple. They changed the name. I've been a history buff all my life. I've studied. It's always been a release, an outlet for me. And the one thing that I do know about when you're dealing with deities, they don't change the name. Even if it's translated into another language. So, when I found out there really was never a Jesus, Jesus, possibly, but even that's questionable. And then when I found out that, you know, they rearranged the book. Now, those two things were devastating to me, particularly the name, because names are very important. And the final thing that broke the proverbial camel back was when I discovered the Sumerian tablets. And I don't care how uneducated you may be, sometimes the less formal education, the much higher rating of common sense. But if you just do the dating, there's no way that the thing they call the Bible could ever be true. And then you go through that detox. It sucks. I had 50 years of indoctrination, layer upon layer, precept upon precept. I was outside in which they call, the charismatic group. We believed in the gifts of the Holy Spirit, manifestation of an unseen God. But then it became very clearly, I didn't know which God they're talking about. Because if the Sumerians existed 2,000 years before the first Hebrew ever emerged, well, there was no Hebrew God in the Sumerian tablets. So it began to unweave very quickly after that. Then I was in a pursuit to say, all right, so then what happened? I mean, I still speak in tongues, so they're not right about that. When I began to study the actual history, there's no way that the stories in the New Testament that I was taught were real, could have ever been real. No person writes with perfect clarity and complete accuracy a third-party conversation where you're playing first and second. Nowhere. There's no way that you could ever tell me that you would be able to remember a conversation you had in 1992 on March 2nd at 2:30 in the afternoon. No. So all the training that I have been saying that, where witchcraft is evil, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, well, it became very clear that no human could do that. So it had to be channeled. Well, channeling is forbidden in the Bible. And then, when you really study history, you see Vespasian never allowed the Jews to uprise. There's no way that the stories of Jesus Christ could be anywhere close to being true, not with Vespasian in Judea. And the problem is that the framers of the stories, they couldn't put in actual Roman history because that would unweave it. It would unravel. So you never read the exploits of Vespasian, but actually you do, because the exploits of the Jesus dude is actually the exploits of Vespasian. No one wants to hear that shit, particularly if you're in the shit. But it's true. And when you see how it all came about, so there was a period of time where I was just, I was kind of lost. It happens. I mean, when you come out of the prison and you realize that there's a whole freaking planet in front of you, it's overwhelming. It's like, well, where do I go now? But we're spiritual beings. There is one that created all of this. I don't know if it has a personification. I don't know if it has a personality. I don't even know if it has a sex or a gender. It's not really important. That will take care of itself. For me, and what this channel has done, it has been a journey. It's an open book for everyone to see. How does an indoctrinated, spirit-filled, tongue-talking, gifted, and gifts in the Holy Spirit, active and testified to, how do they emerge out of that and find themselves? Well, I found all of you. You found me. That to me is affirmation on so many different levels. And I can say with complete sincerity, I'm at peace within myself. I mean, it took decades, but I'm in that place. And now I find everything to be an adventure. I find all stories to be lies and all stories to be true. I realize that there's neither good nor evil, but they both exist. And it's why I don't fear a devil, a Satan, a Lucifer. Don't fear a Jehovah, a Yaldabaoth. Don't fear Moloch. Don't fear Baal. Don't fear any of them. None of them are greater than me. And that's the thing. Gods are gods. But again, there's only one of me. And that makes me specially unique in the whole creation of the cosmos. And that's why I study magic. That's why I study alchemy. That's why we go down many of the different paths here, because that knowledge was denied me for the greater part of my life. What I feared is something I embrace now. There's no fear to it. So that is my story. I could get much more deeper into it, but that is where I'm at. I've come to a place where my tongue can be sharper than any two-edged sword, but it can also be a healing tool. And I think that's the greatest gift that we can give to each other, is to heal one another. And healing comes in many different forms, in many different ways. Knowledge, the gnosis that we learn, is healing. Learning from others' experiences is healing. And embracing inside of a group where the vibration of love is sincere and it's true. Not bad. I mean, I came out of a congregation full of hypocrites, full of vipers. Oh, these men and women were all of good intentions, but the religion itself makes you divided. I can come into this group here. I don't feel a division. There is a connectiveness. So in one aspect, we are the richest beings of the cosmos. We have found something that others before us and those after us will seek. I hope they're successful in finding it. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. All right. Shall I have some tea? Sure. So, whew. Now you know. John Price says the Steiger perspective archives are great. Yeah, they are. It's that song, it's I'm on fire. Yeah, the Steiger perspective and artists first. I mean, I just love their platform. They're good people over there. Yeah, it's an opportunity to express at least an opinion. It's just an opinion. So anyway, yes, Paul, it took me a long time to get there. But, when you do, it kind of feels like, what was Bob Villa's show that he had? Welcome Home. Yeah. Bob Vila. Actually, Bob Vila was a trailblazer. He really was. Many people may not know this, but Bob Vila was this old house. And he was much like myself. He saw an emerging medium and said, maybe I can do what, people thought was, a low class type of job, construction worker. Construction workers are great. I was one for a long time, learned my craft, became a master journeyman. But anyway, yeah. And at the same time, I started a company called Video Educators Incorporated. And we were one of the first companies that went to the insurance companies and said, hey, listen, we got this thing called video. You see my big camera? And it was a big consumer camera. I said, what I can do is go into people's home and videotape everything that they're claiming that they have. And now you have a record. It's common sense, and it's done to a degree today. They recommend it, but yeah, back then. Okay. Have yourselves a great, strong end of the week. It's not the weekend. It's the strong end of the week. It's the time where, they allow us to have some R&R. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what the R&R they actually mean. Who was the guy you co-hosted with before Jeff? Oh, Steve Olson. Yeah. Don't know whatever happened to Steve Olson. Don't know. But I wish wherever he is that he's well. This is part of the journey, you know. Been many, many great people along this path, and particularly here with YouTube. I mean, what a great archive of, you know, this is kind of like, you know, you can actually see a person's life. Yeah. All right. Andromeda 7 tonight, 9 p.m. I think, is it Eastern? I think maybe it's 10. I don't know. But then tomorrow night, Milky Way Soul Tribe, Mr. Robert V, and then Nina on Sin Night. So everyone, thank you. You've enriched my life. I appreciate it. I have such gratitude for all of you. And listen, you know, again, I don't know how we cannot be the most wealthiest beings around. We've got each other. That is really cool. All right. I'll see y'all on Monday. All right. Much love, everyone. Bye-bye.